Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. And what you're looking at is an old Honda 200X with a Honda ATC200S motor on it. I bought this in Orange County, New York. The person who had it put on a 200E motor. It was an electric start motor, 200S version, and they ran it without an air filter, and they just literally, the intake valve was completely consumed and sunken so far into the head that you couldn't back off the adjuster enough to get a seal. What I did is I swapped out the engine. And then I did a very, very bad thing. And let me show you what went wrong here. I managed to get it running. You could see the wires are all fudged around, but from letting it sit, it seized. And then at some point, obviously, I borrowed the carburetor. And from the looks of the oxidation inside the carburetor, water got in. So we're going to try to get this engine freed up and running again. It was probably a very nice engine, so if I screwed this engine up, I'm not going to be very pleased with myself. Anyway, let's see what we could do. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take the spark plug out and get some oil into there. Then I'm going to get that recoil off and see if we can't manhandle the carburetor around a little bit. I already tried putting it in 5th gear and using the sprocket to, you know, kind of break it loose, and that didn't do me any good. So we're kind of getting to the sad times now. I mean, obviously getting the spark plug out, I already broke it loose, but not all that hard. It doesn't appear to be full of water, which is definitely a plus. So anyway, we'll see what happens. In some respects, YouTube is like high school. You know, your math teacher wants you to show more of your work, eh? I don't know. Am I better at YouTube than high school? I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys can see the white flakes. It's snowing out. I don't know, what is it, April 20-something? And it's snowing out. I went to see a buddy up near Utica one time. It had to be the 2nd week of May. And I'm freezing my tail off. I mean, it was cold. It was freaking cold up there. And I'm like seeing this white stuff fall from the sky, and I'm thinking, you know, it's like petals, you know, from flowering trees. So I was up seeing Ed Moore, Crazy Eddie, Rusty Restorations, and I said, I don't see any trees with petals floating around. What's with those white flakes? And he goes, oh, that's snow. Oh, she's seized up. Got to put a wrench to it and see what we could do. So obviously this thing weather seized. So I put this bar across it and I very gently wiggled it back and forth, and it appears, I think we're good at this point. Seems to be going around, so that's good. What I also did is, this is 17 in my drill. I just want to kind of turn it over a little bit, kind of get some of the moisture out of it. I'm probably gonna get a little more WD-40 everything else in there just to make sure it's loosened up. I'm going to start off with light stuff, just to give you an idea how much blew out. You can see it on the tire there. I'm going to put some of the light stuff in there, WD40, because I'd like to see it blow as much of the rust as possible out of there. Then I'll kind of probably put something a little heavier in. Once again, this was completely my fault. Improper storage. I hope this one didn't seize up also. That'd be very upsetting. No, she's still turning over. That's good. All right. Anyway, let's see what we can do with this before we move on to the next tragedy. So here we are. I smashed the carburetor onto it. You guys can see this is some real debatable wiring. But it does seem to be sparking. By the way, these round plug CDIs for Honda, really good. Now what I want to do is see if we can't get this thing started up. I'm going to use the drill and this really sketchy throttle and all. We'll see. Okay, I put some gas into the carburetor. Put the bigger battery on the fuel pack. It's the wrong way. It looks like the right way. Choke is on. See what happens. Didn't sound good. Engine just seized up again. That's not good. That's not good at all. No, I tell you guys to always check the oil. Like, what the heck? Okay, looks like Harvey might have to get the less than smart person award. The engine isn't seized up rock solid, but it is very stiff. So I put a bunch of oil into it and I'm gonna let it soak. Obviously I don't want to start this thing up dry. I'm really surprised that there's no oil in it, because that's not how I leave an engine. I don't see any oil on the ground though, so right, one tire was there, the other back tire was there, so here's where the engine was, right? There's the front tire. I don't see oil on the ground. So this is just completely strange. The only oil lubricating the piston and cylinder was what I poured in there before. And that was relatively thin. So anyway, what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm going to let that oil soak in there. Hopefully the rings won't be seized. If the rings are seized, I'll have no compression and this thing will be quite dead. And I'm going to give it another try tomorrow. You know, I feel lousy about this. I have other 200S motors that I could put on here, but you know, this just goes under the land of silly animal tricks, right? Anybody with a brain shouldn't do anything like this. Anyhow, I'm sure I'm going to get in a couple of notes. Oh, it happened to me. Well, I'm not proud. This was just dumb. Anyway, hopefully nobody else has blown up a Honda engine today. I want to thank you all for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.